It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball.
Yeah, there's some semblance of baseball at Target Field. 10,560? Is that what it was yesterday? Regardless, the lowest crowd in the history of Target Field sans pandemic seasons. Oof. And it was cold. Like, it was a brutal day. But you got the Mets in town. I don't think the weather was the biggest culprit of the 10,000 plus. You can put it in the pie chart. But the Twins fall. They are now off to one of their worst starts. The worst start, right? Potentially in one of their worst starts in franchise history.
It's the worst start in franchise history. Yeah.
So you got that going for you. Your starting pitching has allowed, I think, what is it here? I have the note. I saw this over the last 7 days. Twins starters have allowed just 4 earned runs. They have won 2 of those 7 games. It's brutal. Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa hitting combined 153 this season. This is bad. This is Fielding's woes. 2 more pitching errors yesterday. It's not going great for the Twins.
What's funny is I saw I was watching the first a few innings of the game, and there was the back-to-back mistakes where the ball comes in from right field, and there's no one at second base, and hits the runner in the back or whatever at second base. And just a complete clown show. And that's the clip that's kind of making the rounds around the internet, like baseball internet. Like, oh, what are the Twins doing on this play? Keep the camera rolling on that video clip for the next play, which is the inning could have been over and they would have been down 2-1. And the Twins are just incapable of making basic plays, pitcher fielding practice plays. And it is, dude, it's an embarrassing clown show. Everything in the last 18 months, culminating with Last night was so symbolic, and you trace it all the way back to 40,000 plus fans going crazy in playoff games, fully bought into this team, the Royce Lewis experience, everything. Sonny Gray, right? And then immediately after that, and people kind of accepted like, oh, that was a sad ending. They got beat by the Astros, but wow, they finally won a playoff series. They're playing these fun games. They got these fun players. And okay, we're kind of back in on the Twins. Here we go. And literally from that moment, there's been misstep after misstep after misstep. And it all led you to last night, the lowest attendance, like Declan said, in the history of Target Field, sans 2021 pandemic season. And a calamity of fielding mistakes and no energy, no life whatsoever. And a manager who, once again, people are going to want him fired. And it's like it's Rocco's fault that 18 months of bad franchise inertia, not that he's, should be spared here. But I just thought last night was so symbolic for so many reasons. It's just where the franchise has gone over 18 months.
Something like, here's the thing that gets me though, is it feels like everyone in the clubhouse, to Baldelli, I guess, to Falvey, who, by the way, after this start should probably talk again at some point about his team. But anyway, it feels like everyone is just waiting for it to change. Hey, we got to get this right. Like it's some type of small slump. But if you watch these games, it's not a slump. It's ineptitude. And when you see that game last night, when you see, I think it was Julian spike the ball into the ground, or Castro at second base. He literally turned around to throw, realized there was no one at second, and he just quarterback clock spiked the ball, and it bounced up and hit the poor Mets guy on second base. But when you look at the ineptitude, the embarrassment that this has become, you can't write this off to a slump. This isn't a slow start. This is not because I think the one thing when you don't have a good start is, well, it always shows up at the beginning of the season. If we played like this in July, no one would say a word. It would just be written off and it'd be fine. But the reality is this, and this is the thing that it feels like fans and media acknowledge and the Twins don't. This started on, if nothing else, this started on August 17th on field of last year. You fell apart. Your clubhouse, in my opinion, became pretty damn toxic, okay? I don't see any change. And Correa actually came out and talked last night and acknowledged that. Like they went to spring training with this goal of we got to get this right? Like we embarrassed ourselves, which they did, and we got to get this right. We got to come out and we got to look like a professional team, and they don't. They don't at all. And it is very clear no one has answers. And where I will fault Baldelli is it feels like, well, one, he at least is responsible for some of the ineptitude. Like that's got to fall on someone. And I think it falls on the people that lead the team from a field level. But the other thing is, it feels like he's just like out of answers himself. Because he's not publicly mad. He's just sort of like, yeah, we got to get this turned around. And some guys are playing well and some guys aren't. This is so much more than that, and something foundationally as far as the team. And I'm not even getting into the business now, okay? Because that's a whole different, like that ties in, but that's a different thing. That's big picture. I'm saying just the baseball team. Something about the baseball team has gone very, very wrong here. And I think just like poking it with a stick and saying, it'll change, is just gross neglect to a situation that needs to be addressed in some way. And yet everyone just sort of stands around hoping that the public doesn't notice. And the problem is the public is tuning them out left and right. When 10,240 people are announced, which by the way is a large part of your season ticket base. I'm saying there were 5,000 there last night and a lot of them were Mets fans.
Yeah.
You cannot ignore this. I don't care if it's April, May, June, July, or January. This is a situation that you cannot ignore, and it feels like they are just hoping it's like a cut that's going to heal because you put a Band-Aid on the damn thing, and it ain't happening.
So what do you guys, like, how do you untangle this? Like, if Derek Falvey, with his newfound power, which is still miraculous to me, that throughout this historic 18-month organizational collapse, where the Twins are now back to, in terms of fan interest and attendance, back to where they were in the year 2000. This was the lowest attended Twins game, according to Aaron Gleeman, since April of 2002, I believe, back at the Metrodome. So it's like fan interest has now regressed back to pre-Target Field, at the beginning of the contraction Twins, basically. If Derek Falvey comes to you guys and says, all right, Declan, Judd, and Phil, I guess, I need a consultant. Help me untangle and unpack. What is the pie chart of blame for where we are as a franchise? What are the fixes? Where would you start to untangle this thing and figure this thing out?
Well, number one, you have just committed to a payroll that includes the largest chunk of it going to Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, and you paid Pablo Lopez. I'm not saying that guys like Pablo Lopez didn't deserve a payday. He was one of the most effective pitchers in baseball in 2023. But all two of those guys, as I said off the top, are hitting 153. Your ace is on the shelf right now. I don't think it's a long-term injury, but regardless, he's on the shelf. And you don't have any other backup resources that have proven that they can handle this. Everyone looks at the Twins, I think, from a national side, from like the writing side and from the analysts of, you look at their roster on paper, and this is probably the most talented one as a whole in the AL Central, but they can't stay on the field. And to be honest, like, this team just isn't that good. Like, I read the starting pitching stats, and over the last week, the starting pitching certainly has been better. They still have 3 quality starts on the season. Their fielding is a mess. Their offense stinks. They had this big organizational philosophy change in spring training of how we're going to go about fixing things. And how much do you want to still give that runway and say, all right, well, we're only 15 games in, 16 games into this organizational change, but what's really changing? You're just as bad, if not worse, than the last 40 games of last season. So I don't really necessarily have the answer. I can make the assumption and make the obviously accurate statement, though, that this is a bad baseball team. This is really bad.
So you're saying Derek Falvey asked us, so I can't fire him. I'm trying to help him out.
No, you can.
Well, what I would do is,
how about this? Okay,
yep.
Joe Polad comes to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
and says, I need a consultant.
So I would
we need to right size our organization.
Well, first of all, if he had come to me, I would have said, do not turn over the business operations to a guy who's in charge of your baseball. If he was good at that, that's a lot. So, but from a short-term standpoint, let's just say I am answering this question on April 15th for the sake of the ball club. I fire Rocco. And here's why. And by the way, again, I like him. Nice guy. Doesn't matter. He is out of answers and solutions. And you've got to have, and that is coupled with this, and this is the most important thing, and this is ultimately why I would make a move. This team, since mid-August of 2024, has been unprofessional. They are unprofessional. They have, I'm telling you right now, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can see it. They've tuned him out. They have tuned him out. They are a clubhouse of mostly lethargic, people that you think are going to lead aren't. And look, there's always blame to be spread around, okay? Like so I'm not saying Rocco Baldelli is the only problem, and if you fire him, it's going to turn things around completely. But I am saying there's a difference between being not a great team and being an unprofessional team. Mm-hmm. And what we saw last night, what we have seen since August of last year, is largely unprofessional. So whatever your message that you are trying to get through is, it's not hitting home. And that's when you've lost a team. Any sport, hockey, basketball, football, I don't care. Like, what is Kevin O'Connell so good at? His message resonates. Like, at the end of the day, it's the most important thing. His message gets through. And the day it doesn't, he's gone. But Rocco Baldelli, his approach, and Phil, I sent you the quotes from last night.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole lot of shoulder shrugging.
Yeah. But if you look at the last quote from Baldelli, because I asked Carlos and Baldelli the same question, which is, what can you do? Like let's stop saying, hey, you didn't get this, or the throws were like that. Okay. I said, what can you do? And if you read part of that quote, what you find is a guy who doesn't know. And when you don't know, when you have no answers, and when you are literally getting unprofessional performances, it's my opinion, you've lost the clubhouse. And once that's gone, it's over.
Yeah, the Rocco thing is nuanced, because I don't think a baseball manager has nearly enough power to turn around the worst record in franchise history. So I don't think, if you're trying to identify like the biggest problem on the pie chart of blame, I would never put Rocco Baldelli number one. But at this point, it's not enough to just point at the problems. You need to find solutions.
Right.
And if Rocco doesn't really have a solution, or if his solutions are not resonating with players in the clubhouse, then maybe a new voice would help push it in the right direction. But by no means I would be shocked if you change the manager and all of a sudden this team plays a 92 win pace the rest of the year.
No.
There's some deep seated things in here. And I'll start with a completely inept lineup full of former first and second round draft picks. Whether it's Carlos Correa, who was drafted by the Astros in the same draft as Byron Buxton. Mm-hmm. I mean, I might be missing some here, but Correa, Jose Miranda, Buxton, Wallner, Larnick, Jeffers. Jeffers is a former second round pick who popped a couple years ago. What the hell happened to that guy's bat over the last, however many weeks, months? Brooks Lee, he's back a couple games, and we'll finally get to see. It's way too early to throw him completely under the bus. But all right, you're 24 now. You're in the big leagues. Part of the premise of the Twins playing at a 90-win pace this year was for sure Brooks Lee's glove being a factor for the season. Now he's here, and we'll see if he stays healthy. But it's if you took every player on this team since the All-Star break last year, and you just had a simple exercise of, are they overperforming or underperforming their career baseline and or their status as a prospect rising up through the ranks? Almost every single one, except for maybe like Matt Wallner and maybe a couple others, are underperforming what that bar should be. Why is that? To me, that is organizational stink right there. So whatever you guys are doing, from management, coaching, to resources supplied to players from a scouting perspective, motivation. Like there's a whole bin of things that it could be. When you see that many guys underperforming what their bar and baseline is, not just over a 15-game sample, but going back months and months and months, something is off. And unfortunately, us three idiots sitting on a microphone here, even Declan being in the clubhouse all the time, and Judd, you're out there too. Like, we aren't far enough behind the curtain to really know. But it feels bigger than just firing a manager, in my opinion.
It definitely is. And yeah, I mean, on a personal or human side, I think Rocco's a great dude. I really do. I do think, though, he's out of answers right now. And when your star player in Correa comes out and basically says, yeah, I mean, he's asking the writers. He's asking us, what do you guys think is wrong? Well, we know we're watching the product on the field, dude. Like, you're a superstar. You went to World Series. You're supposed to be the de facto leader of this team. Like, I don't think you should be asking Declan Goff and Judd Zulgad what's going on. Like, tell us from your side, how do you try to get out of this? And now what happens, and this happened last year, is the frustration builds and the finger pointing starts. And we got a little glimpse of that, whether he meant to do it on purpose or it's vindictive or not, from Joe Ryan yesterday, when he said, I mean, I'm getting off the mound, I'm taking a sip of water, and now I'm back out on the mound. Like, I can't get 2 minutes to breathe. Like, this is how this starts. And again, I don't think what's interesting about Joe Ryan is, like, covering him just from the last 2 years. Like, last year and after a loss, that dude had nothing to say about anything. He was so pissed off and reserved and quiet. He didn't even want to talk about his losses or his team losses or his performance not living up to snuff. Yesterday, and even the starts that he has lost or has been a part of his losses, he is much more reflective. And now when you're 16 games in and your starting pitcher is saying, can I get 2 minutes to breathe from this offense? And, you know, pitchers versus hitters. I know we don't have a Trevor Plouffe Tuesday today because it's like the number one thing on my mind I want to ask Trev about.
He will join Thursday, by the way.
Yes.
He's out in New York this week. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's traveling. He'll be with us on Thursday. But that's what happens. Is now you have your young star pitcher. I know Doogie kind of dropped a scoop of, there could be a contract extension. I mean, does Joe Ryan want to still be around? I mean, money talks, but does Joe Ryan still want to be around this? Because that type of stuff is, oh boy, this is how this starts to fester and gets out of control.
And in April as well. But the thing about this, all that comes back to me, and why I say I think that Baldelli should go, is so many of the key things here are unprofessional. What Joe is saying is, we're taking unprofessional at bats. He's like, take a strike. I don't care. Keep me off the mound, right? Like, if you look at this team, you know, I'm sorry. And yes, he got sent down. And yes, it was one of the stupidest plays I've seen. But when you have a runner who's being signaled safe and just comes off the base, that's on him. But that's also on the fact that these things are building up. These things are compounding, and they're not professional. They're a complete joke. And that's the problem. Like, I understand that guys are going to get hit, and I understand that guys are going to go through slumps. And the one thing that stuck out to me about the Correa quotes last night, like a sore thumb, was this team, I mean, he's been bad. He's been real bad at the plate. But Declan, I think all or almost all of his quotes involved his own struggles. So he never, like it wasn't like, I'm the captain of this team and he basically talked about himself. Like, he was asked a good question about the start and about the month of April. And his response was basically, I've had a lot of bad Aprils. He's talking about himself, which, yes, that's a thing. But I feel like when a team's a team, they talk about the team.
Well, but he got his hand slapped by media and players in the clubhouse when he had some opinions about the lack of work ethic among young players last year. And everyone clapped back at that, apparently. Like, if that rubbed some of the young players the wrong way in the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's
he's like, okay, if you guys don't want to hear.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a problem.
So I have been in the league for 10 years, and I feel like I have a knowledge of what a World Series winning work ethic looks like. So I have some takes on it. And some of the dudes in that clubhouse looked at him sideways like, bro, you're making $35 million and you're not on the field. So why are you throwing us under the bus?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened last year.
But
so now he's like, all right, well, I'll just talk about myself then. You don't want to be led? I'm not going to lead.
But I mean,
I'm projecting that on him.
Right.
I don't
But
know
that's a great point because that in itself is a continuation of the problem.
Yeah. I mean, when he's basically saying, well, today I had a double or I had a couple 3-2 counts, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, I mean, yes, his struggles are a problem. Like, he's hitting 150. He's your star player. He's topping baseballs. He was batting fifth. He got moved down to fifth in the order yesterday because he simply can't hit right now. His glove's still great. I mean, he still makes great plays at the field, but I mean, these guys need to hit. They don't just need good glove work here. I mean, your two star players, and also, by the way, Royce Lewis is still not on track to return. Like, your two best offensive players can't hit. Your ace is on the injured list. Your number one prospect or guy that's supposed to save your franchise still isn't here. You're waiting on all the other guys to try to step up. Can Matt Wallner and Trevor Larnach be everything? Your fielders are throwing balls away. This is just a dog bleep team. This is a dog bleep team through the first 16, 17 games.
And one more thing, just on the Falvey front, Derek Falvey. You could argue Derek Falvey had a lot of work to do as a baseball front office executive, a team building executive.
Yep.
Going into this last offseason. Like, if it were me, just an idiot here again with a microphone, and my last name was Polad, and I'm looking at if the thing I was looking at was, are we winning games at a high level on the field? Are we competitive with the other teams in our league at the top? And I know that a lot of those teams get to spend more money, and that's unfair because of baseball structure. But I want someone focused on that first and foremost. And if they master that and prove to be Theo Epstein-like in their ability to spin plates and see a vision for baseball ops and maybe business, or like a Dave Dombrowski, think about some of the legendary baseball executives, then maybe we can have a conversation about you overtaking all power in the organization. After that collapse last year, the second one in 3 years, to promote Falvey to one of the most powerful baseball executives in the entire league is wild. And now he's sitting here looking at two messes, a mess on the field and a mess with attendance, fan interest, public relations, everything that goes with having a bad baseball team where fans hate the ownership and all of those things. So he has double the mess to clean up, and I'm not sure he was even the best qualified person to clean up the baseball operations mess. They haven't been a total train wreck throughout his tenure, but they made one sort of run in the playoffs in 8 years. They've had more meltdowns to miss the playoffs than they have actual playoff runs in his tenure. And they also botched the greatest home run hitting team in the history of baseball by doing nothing significant at the trade deadline in 2019. And you add all that up and say, you know what this guy needs? He needs to be elevated in terms of power and stature in the organization. It's unserious. It's unserious.
Yeah. It's unprofessional as the train comes right through here. It's unprofessional. and I will say this too, one thing that does not get talked about much is this. This organization was far more successful when whatever his role was, Thad Levine had a say. The more that Thad got sort of pushed out, I think the worse things became. And so there's just a lot of questions here, including the fact that this train is in my back freaking yard, but that's beside the point. I think there's a lot of questions here, and I don't know that the Polads are interested in the answers. So take that for what it's worth.
It's so, it's, by the way, on the attendance front, one more note on that. I do have a random twin of the week for you guys too. Didn't forget about that. But on the attendance front, so if you factor in, let's see here, you factor in last night's 10,000, whatever it was, and
240.
It was 10,240.
Yes, sir.
So the Twins are currently, there's only 5 teams with a worse average attendance this season. It would be the Rays, who always are at the bottom. The Athletics were playing in a minor league stadium. Well, and the Rays are too.
And the Rays are too, yeah.
Yep. So Athletics and Rays are both playing in like minor league stadiums. And then you got the Marlins at 14,000 a game, Royals and Pittsburgh at like 17,007 and 9, and the Twins are averaging 18,500 per game, which would be, I think that would be the lowest average attendance since the year 2000 at the Metrodome, if they were to hold. And by the way, they've already racked the biggest attendance game of the year as part of that average opening day.
Right, that's what
they're not going to. Like, so they're not.
That's saving.
You're not going to get. You're not going to get like many more 35,000s unless you really turn this thing around.
Nope.
So it is literally headed for a turn back of the clock 25 years in terms of attendance and fan interest right now. So,
but besides that, things are great.
Things are great. SKOR North St. Paul Saints show coming at you soon.
Yeah,
new house for Dex Tweets. He's just 5 minutes away from CHS
I'm excited
now.
about the Saints.
Yeah.
Are you?
Mildly. Well, I can't go now because 94 is just a complete disaster.
It is. Take your helicopter.
No helicopters for this guy.
Hey, how about you rage pick 'em on Underdog? In fact, right now I'm seeing 20% profit boost on strikeouts for pitchers. So Tyler McGill for the Mets on Tuesday night. He's got 17 Ks already. He's only allowed like one earned run all season. If you want to rage against the Twins, do it on Underdog. Promo code SKOR, or maybe they're due. Maybe they're finally due for something. They get a little extra pluses on some of those pick'ems for highers or lowers, plus some great options on golf, NBA playoffs. They have All right, Vinny,
we're just a hot mess today. I got a train,
man. Underdog promo code SKOR, like my dog here, getting in on all the action. All right, Underdog promo code SKOR for a deposit match.
He's placing his bets right now.
Pets.
Yeah.
Heads are falling off.
Mets, he said.
Dennis Kirk, by the way, is partnering here on the SKOR North Twins Show for riding season this spring and summer. You can go to DennisKirk.com and check out over 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories for motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, snowmobiles, and more. They've got all the top brands with the most stock available relative to their competitors. They offer same-day shipping on orders placed before 6 p.m. Central Time and free shipping on orders over $89. So, go to DennisKirk.com if you are into riding season and check them out. All right, boys. So, baseball. I have a random twin of the week for you two gentlemen. Last week, Judd snuck a current player by us here. Declan got on the board for the first time in a few weeks with Danny Coulomb, current twin.
Coulomb.
Before that, it was Brian Buchanan, Jeff Rebele, Sam Diduno, Kyle Gibson, Greg Swindell. So all time, did you overtake Judd? I might have forgotten to give you
I thought we tied.
You guys are tied now. Okay, 25 apiece, and I have 29 wins. So one of you will emerge into second place solo here, and the other one will be stuck in last
And you're
place.
29, you said, and we're 25?
Yep, you're 4 away from me here.
I'm just trying to get closer. Okay. Let's go.
So I'm going to give you guys a series of clues. You can guess up to 3 times incorrect before you hit that third strike and are eliminated. Here we go. This random Twins' best season in the major leagues was a 6.5 WAR season.
It's a good year.
6.5.
Hold on. I'm going to also go
Wins
look at
above
the
replacement.
I'm going to the previous random Twins if you see me doing something on my screen here, so I'm not
Sure.
cheating. Let's see, all Twins with a 6.5 WAR. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, you just had that saved. You got
I just save all the wars.
I mean,
save
it's probably
everyone's-
not a huge list.
Okay.
Of what? Of random Twins that we've done, or of 6.5 WAR seasons?
I mean, 6.5 WAR is a really good year.
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
In fact, let me just real quick here. Twins, I could probably get you some. His worst season, by the way, was a minus 0.5 wins above
Well, it's sad.
replacement.
Sad finish. He should have retired early.
Let me just see here. Single season. I'm curious. By the way, that 6.5 WAR season was with the Twins.
Okay.
It was with the Twins.
Thank
I'm trying to pull up here on Baseball Reference if that were to emerge into the top 10. It is not one of the top 10 Twin seasons of all time
Okay.
in terms of what wins above replacement. He does not have because 6.5 was the top. He does not have one of the top 10. It was a good season though.
Yeah, it's a good year.
Yeah, no, it's a very good season.
This random twin had a 256 career Major League batting average.
Interesting.
256. He actually finished 11th in MVP voting his first season with the Twins.
Hold on. I feel something going on here. Something happening here. All right, hold on. That we have not.
That wasn't the 6.5 WAR though season, was it?
It's a great question. It was not the 6.5 WAR season. This was a 5.7 WAR season.
Okay, yeah.
So
Those are good
multiple
Yeah.
solid seasons with the Minnesota
Really good
Twins.
years.
What's funny is the year that he finished 11th in MVP voting, there were 5 Yankees who finished above him on that list.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
Okay, that
which is
probably-
those classic East
that
Coast
probably-
I'll
sports
take a
writers.
guess.
I love to hear this. I love it. Go ahead.
Brad Radke.
Brad Radke. It's a fun
Good
guess.
Good guess. I love. That's great. Right out of the gate, just
It's a
taking your
fun
shot,
guess.
shooting
Yep.
your shot.
Brad Radke once a 20-game winner for the
we- have
Minnesota
we not
Twins.
20-game
used him?
winner.
I don't think we've done Radke.
Oh my God, what an oversight.
So Declan's got one incorrect. Judd, you have not fired a bullet yet here. Okay, in addition to being a great high school baseball player, which
Yep.
usually you would have to be a major league player,
Okay.
he was also an All-American high school quarterback. He was an awesome high school quarterback.
Todd Helton didn't play for the Twins. Oh boy.
This random twin played in 13 career playoff games.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to wins above replacement here because he also had, with a different team, a 4.2 WAR season in which he finished 15th in MVP voting.
God. This is a really good player.
Good
This is a
baseball
really
player.
solid
I'm
player.
trying.
I mean,
I'm trying to get my head around the era.
top.
Oh,
Like I feel like I had a thought, but it's not because the Yankees weren't as dominant at the time as my original
Yeah,
thought.
I think
Okay.
I got. I think I have the era.
I think I do too, but it's left me in a little bit of a lurch. I'm not gonna lie.
okay.
Okay.
Let's see here. He played in a World Series but did not win. It was the only World Series he played in. He did not win it.
Series, but did not win. Okay, that takes off.
It was a 7-game World Series. Heartbreaker.
7-game World Series. Heartbreaker. Did not win.
So who's been to a
And never won a World Series.
Who's been to a 7-game World Series? Who's been to a 7-game World Series?
Who is this bastard?
He was once teammates with George Brett. That should help you with the era, at least.
Oh yeah, that's okay. That changes it back.
Okay. He was teammates with George Brett.
That could mean anything. I mean, that.
No, but that's a very specific. That's very specific because now we're.
He was teammates with other Hall of Famers, too.
No, but I mean the Brett. You've now. I thought you were going newer school. You clearly weren't. You clearly weren't.
Well,
You know,
No,
I mean,
Brett played 75, 74, 75-ish to 90, if I'm not mistaken. So now
he
we're in
played
a,
longer than that.
so now
probably
we're
played longer than that too. I was about to say, I think you just gave me some help if you did that, because I thought he played way longer than that.
Did he? I might be wrong.
I bet he played until like the mid-90s, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he? Okay, good for him. Great.
You can
career.
look that up. If you want to look that up, we'll give you the, well,
No,
maybe
don't
that's
look that
cheating.
up.
I'll look
No,
it up.
no. That's okay. I'm not
That's a
going to do
gray
it.
area. That's a gray
I'm not
area.
going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I'll look up George Brett,
Hey,
so you
hey,
can have.
you might be right. It might have been
full timeline of his career.
93-ish or so. I think he got his. I think it was the 3,000th hit
Oh yeah,
that he got in
played
90.
way beyond. I'll say he played considerably beyond 1990. We'll just say that.
Okay. All right. See, so I was wrong.
All right, this I told you that the Twins weren't the only team that he played for. I'll give you another sort of little morsel. He was managed in his last season by Jack McKeon.
Okay, now I know exactly who he played for. I know where the World Series was. I've got everything. But these are... But hold on a second. So who played... So his best season came with the Twins. Or his best WAR. Gotta go through.
Yep.
I gotta go. I'm sure you're talking about a hitter.
Oh, God, who the hell is this?
Yeah, I'll give you his most prominent positions
Okay.
in any order that you like here.
Dang.
Left field, first base, and third base. He was a corner guy.
Left field,
Mm-hmm.
first base, and third base?
I'm going to see if he played any other positions, even just for fun. Let me see here.
No, he won a World Series.
He played.
Oh, who the hell is this?
Oh, he did make an appearance at both second base and right field as well.
Okay. That can help me.
This random twin was a 13-time All-Star.
Oh, good God.
13-time All-Star. And once won an MVP award.
Is this? No, he won a World Series. I don't want to burn it.
Why am I so conflicted? Why am I so tight? My mind is not working right now. My mind is not. So he won an MVP award?
He did. He won an MVP award.
Dude.
Most valuable player.
And did he?
In that season, by the way, he led the major leagues. He played all 162. He led the major leagues in times being intentionally walked, on base percentage, home runs, RBIs,
Okay,
walks drawn.
Hold on. So this is.
Had an OPS over 1,000.
But he had this great season with the Twins. That's what's. Or his best WAR season.
Well, I will say that this season I'm talking about has not been mentioned yet. It is not the 6.5 WAR season. It is not his first year, and it is not the whatever the third one was I mentioned. This is a different season.
I am so tied up right now, man.
So I've given you now 4. He's had at least 4 really good seasons, and also 13 All-Star games.
Played for Jack McKeon.
Yeah.
So I think I know what the World Series was then. Oh, Christ.
So Jack McKeon, when he managed this player, was 44 years old.
Oh, hold on then. Okay, then it's not what I thought.
Oh, man, this is great.
So Jack McKeon was 44?
Yeah, I think you're thinking of like 80-year-old Jack
I'm
McKeon.
thinking, yeah. Well, I was thinking of the 97 Marlins.
I'm telling you.
Who went 7 games with Cleveland, right?
Well, he did not manage the 97 Marlins. Was that Leland?
Oh,
was
was
that
Leland?
McKeon did manage it was the 03 Marlins that McKeon managed.
Hold on.
But I'm telling you that he was old. He's too old.
Wait, they didn't go to wait. So that Jack McKeon team got swept.
Is this guy a Hall of Famer?
Yes, he is. He is in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Is this Jim Thome? God dang, who is this?
So he's a Hall of Famer. Jack McKeon was 44 when he managed him. Okay, I've got a question. Did Jack McKeon manage him in that World Series?
No.
Okay.
He did not. And I'll give you another hint. Jim Thome, I once watched Jim Thome shake this man's hand with my own 2 eyes.
This is embarrassing. This is as good as I was like 3 weeks ago. This is so effing embarrassing.
I witnessed
his main positions: left field, first base, third base.
Yeah. When his career was over, he did get into some broadcast work.
That helps, Judd. Oh my God, dude! People are just screaming. They've been screaming.
Yeah, I know. This is just this is hideous. This is so hideous.
13 Hall of Famer, 13-time All-Star, MVP, 1,000 OPS, Never won a World Series. I think that's what's tripping me up.
And he played for the
Never won a World
played
Series.
for Jack McKeon and was teammates with George Brett.
He was worth 60 wins above replacement in his career.
Woo! Who only
wins
played
above
for
replacement.
Kansas City.
By the way,
Harmon Killebrew.
there it is.
There it is. Jesus.
Yeah, Jack McKeon was the manager of in George Brett's rookie year with Kansas City in 1975.
Okay, that's awesome.
The 1975 Royals had Harmon Killebrew at the very end of his career, and George Brett at the very beginning of his career.
I apologize, folks out there. I am so sorry. That was an absolute embarrassment. Who's got two thumbs and just embarrassed himself?
The killer.
That was
Harmon
awful.
Killebrew.
That was awful. That was
he
terrible.
was
not by you. It was a great job by you.
He was a 39-year-old starting DH for the Royals in 1975. The Twins told him, "Hey, so we're done with you, but if you want to be our bench coach, you can do that." And he said, "Just release me. I'd like to play for another."
Well, Calvin, his last year, and I believe his last home run was at the Met as a Royal.
That was a 91-win Royals team, and then they eventually released him, so he didn't get to see that season.
That team won 91 games, huh?
Yep. Well, George Brett was awesome. 22-year-old rookie.
Oh, God, yeah.
They had John Mayberry was their first baseman.
Oh,
good
played
player.
For Blue Jays eventually.
Good, solid player. So,
Patek at short.
Let's see here. Let me pull this.
Frank White at second at that time.
Freddie Patek
at short
was at shortstop. Hal McRae was in left field.
Frank White at second.
You had Cookie Rojas at second base. Frank White then came in as like a super utility guy.
Okay. Pete Lecoq?
Let's see here.
Pete Lecoq was a thing.
I do have a Pete Lecoq baseball card. I don't think he was on this team, though.
Pete Lecoq's dad was Peter Marshall, who hosted the Hollywood Squares. But he changed his name from Lecoq. Can't imagine why.
Declan was, I think what tripped up Declan is maybe the Jack McKeon. Judd knew that Jack McKeon was 80 years old in the 2000s.
Yeah. And
the math on McKeon's age probably helped Judd more than it helped.
Who managed and we 2 weeks ago at Kieran's we talked about the fact off mic that we hadn't done Killebrew.
Yep, that's true. And you guys
should have known.
You wanted some old school guys, So there you got your old school guy right there.
I'm sorry, Harmon.
Yeah,
God rest your soul. Painful. I just embarrassed us. I embarrassed everyone on the show.
Well, everyone's being embarrassed.
Good call, Phil. 97 Marlins, 92 and 70. Jim Leland was the skipper.
Yeah, there you go.
Call. Anyway, all right.
Hit that like button and subscribe button here on the SKOR North Twins Show.